Hey, what's up YouTubers, and welcome back to another Todd E. Walnuts unboxing video. And hey, I recognize you. You were here last time for the last video. So thank you for coming back. I really appreciate that. And we're joined again by the lovely girls. So we're going to do an unboxing of this quarter scale Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, the final chapter movie that came out in 1984. A quarter scale figure is 18 inches tall. I'm going to unbox it. We're going to stand it up, talk about it a little bit. I'm going to show a couple of other figures alongside this one. Pretty happy about this. And the ladies are here, and Hannah she can't wait. She's been sniffing the box. She wants to check out the new figure we got. Heidi, she's a little bit afraid. She's afraid of Jason, I'm not going to lie. Well, I assured her that Jason will not hurt her, but we're going to check this out. So get yourself relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, kick your feet up, light a candle, close your windows so the neighbors don't see, for God's sakes. And let's check this out. Okie dokie. So before we break into the box, I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of the packaging, which this figure will be coming out of the packaging. It's going to be displayed, but I'm going to keep the box in a closet. But before I do that, I'm going to just kind of go over the box, show you some of the box art and graphics and how Jason looks in the box. Now this figure originally came out in 2018, summer of 2018, so it's been out for a good 5 years already. Always wanted this figure. It's a little pricey, but I finally pulled the trigger, and I'm very happy that I added this to the collection. So this is from NECA Real Toys. The box art is beautiful. Normally I do keep my figures boxed, but this has to be displayed. And there on the back you can see how he can be posed. A little bit of trivia. The weapon that Jason used most in these movies of the franchise was the machete. Most people know that. His second weapon of choice was the axe, and I'm sure many of you knew that too. I just wanted to throw that out there for those who may not have known that. A little bit of fun info about the Friday the 13th franchise. It says, after his revival in a hospital morgue, the hockey-masked murderer fixes his vengeful attention on the Jarvis family and a group of carefree teenagers. Young Tommy Jarvis is an aficionado of horror films with a special talent for masks and makeup effects. Has the diabolical Jason finally met his match? And they touted this movie as the final chapter, and it originally was going to be the final Friday movie. But as we know, they made 12 of them up to date, up till the recording of this video. So the very next one will be Friday the 13th, the 13th. I hope they really take their time and do it right. We deserve a good Friday the 13th. So I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to start taking this bad boy out. Okay, we got the box off, but we lost Heidi. She was really freaked out. I don't know if she'll come back or not, but we're going to continue here. Before we take the little twisty ties and little things that are holding him in the box, I just wanted to kind of give it a once over. So you get two different head sculpts in this box here. You get the one there on the left, and that is the head from the final scene of the movie when Tommy Jarvis hits Jason on the head with a machete, and then Jason falls to the ground, And as he's falling to the ground with the machete in his skull, it just kind of like almost slices his head in half. And then of course Jason is dead at the end of the movie. And we don't see Jason again until part 6. And that's when they dig him up. Because we know in part 5 there was a red herring. And part 5, the Jason character was played by Roy Burns. And it's actually a pretty good movie. I know a lot of people trash part 5. I think it's actually a very good movie. But it's not a Jason movie. But we see Jason again in part 6, and we see him other times. There's another head under that mask, and once we take him out, I will show that. But I just want to kind of show the details a little bit better here. You can see that there's kind of a dirty, bloody shirt. And then you get the dirty kind of cargo pants, I guess. It's dirt and blood mixed, and you got the filthy boots. And then there are some weapons on the side. We're going to take those out. And there's also the hand that's split. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to pause it here, and we will take him out. Okay. Woo! So that was crazy. The Chinese had this thing locked up tight. Like, it took me way longer than it should have to get Jason out. And I was thinking to myself, if they would have had the Wuhan lab locked down like this, nobody would have ever gotten COVID. So, man. All right, but anyway, we got this out. So, before we get into Jason here, let's look at some of the accessories. So here again is a better look. Let me see if we can get a better viewing here so the flash doesn't wash out the detail. And I apologize about the shoddy camera work. I know it's kind of bouncy and all over the place, but I'm trying to get you guys the best viewing of the details here. So you can see where Jason got that nice slash on the side of his head. And if you guys remember, that's when Tommy Jarvis hit him at the end. And like I was saying earlier, then Jason kind of falls to the ground with the machete still stuck in his head. And as he's hitting the ground, the force kind of slices deeper and deeper and almost just takes his head right in half. And that looks really, really good. Very good paint detail. Now, I've heard that these heads are very hard to replace, and you have to use the warm water technique when you kind of put the head under hot water for a little bit to kind of loosen up or soften up the plastic and then try to put it on the peg. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'm sure that there are probably hundreds of other videos of this figure. It's been out for 5 years now, So here is a separate hand that you can use on the Jason figure. And you'll remember that Jason got this wound from Trish. She cuts him across the hand with a machete. And the machete was inside the box here on the side. There was kind of like a little blister pack here on the side, and they glued, or some glue got on the machete and it was stuck to the paper here. So I'm just gonna, I'll wash that off later, but yeah, this is a pretty nice figure. I really like this. It's pretty good detail on the handle. It really kind of gives it that wooden handle effect or feel to it. Pretty cool machete. And here again is the hand. We'll get a better look at that. Looks really good. You can see the dirty long fingernails. Jason really met his match in part 4. The Jarvises really destroyed him, killed him. Here's a butcher knife. Some nice blood work there on the blade. It looks really good. And the last weapon is this really nice long double-bladed axe. And the handle looks like it's really wood, but it's not. This is all plastic. But if you just look at it, it looks like it's really wood. I mean, they did a great job in the details of this figure. I think it's great. I'm really glad to have this in the collection. And then there was another blister pack down here, and I thought that's where they kept Jason's Jordans. But I don't think Jason wore Jordans, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, Jason didn't wear Jordans. He had work boots. So let's take him out. Package here. It's really heavy. I'll have to look to see how heavy the figure is. I'll do a little research in between this clip and the next one. But if you look on the back, you can't tell now, but they had those little plastic bars with all those little zip tie things in them, and it was all the way down. I mean, it was ridiculous. But you know, I'm glad they did it because the figure stayed secure and it was well protected, and there's no, at least not that I can see, there was no damage yet. It looks like they're pretty good. So there you can see the mask. I'm trying to get a good view without the flash kind of washing out the detail. And you can see how they have the old wound on the mask where Jason was cut by an axe in part 3 by Chris, the lead female role in part 3. She was beautiful, and she ended up living too. She survived at the end. If you remember, she had the hallucinations in the canoe at the end. And you can see how I like how they have the old wound where the blood is kind of darker to show that it's an old wound. And then the fresh wound where Tommy Jarvis hits him is like a fresh blood. It's really, really nice. You can see the eyes. And this is a beautiful figure. For the price, it's well worth it. I mean, this is almost on par with Sideshow collectibles. So I'm going to put him down, and we're going to pull the mask off. Take a closer look at the mask. You can see now by the end of part 4, the chevron on his mask, half of it has peeled off. Part 4 is my favorite in the franchise. Part 6 is also very good. Part 4 is very violent, very gory, and Jason really takes a pounding in part 4. You can see that they even have some dirt and grime and blood on the inside of the mask, which is a nice touch. Very nice detail. And we will take a better look at the head. Now I'm gonna, oops, I think I spooked the dog. So these are the two head sculpts. I like the one that's on there now, but I do like this one too. Just for the history of the franchise and the gruesome ending that Jason meets at the end of part 4. And then here is, you can see his axe wound there at the top, the older wound from part 3. It's a beautiful figure. Again, it does have really good paint details. So to show you guys a size comparison, I also pulled out a 7-inch NECA figure. I know what you guys were thinking when I said I pulled out a 7-inch, but get your minds out of the gutter. We're talking about Jason here. So here is what this is a 7-inch. This is also from part 4, the final chapter. So you do have the army jacket, you have the cargo pants, boots, everything. This also does come with a second head, but you can see the size comparison. That is pretty amazing. I'm going to pause it here. In the next scene, I'm going to show you what he looks like standing next to some of my Sideshow collectible figures. Okay, so I moved some stuff around a little bit just to kind of do a demonstration here of 4 different Jason characters on this little end table here. Did a little dusting too, because these things do pick up some dust. But I've done videos on all of these in the past. So this first one here in the back left right there, that is Sideshow Collectibles. It's called The Legend of Crystal Lake. That's from part 3, and it's from Sideshow Collectibles in 2016. They released it. That figure stands 22.5 inches tall, just so you can kind of see how they look together on the shelf. And then this one also does come with a second head. I'm not going to get too much into detail because, again, I did do videos on this. You can just check my channel if you want to see those videos. This is from the 2009 remake. This is a NECA figure. This is a 7-inch figure. It also does come with a, you're going to be able to see that, kind of a different take on the sack head Jason, the remake from 2009. Put that there. This one here in the front, this is called the Terror of Crystal Lake, also by Sideshow Collectibles. This one stands 16 inches tall. This one was limited to 400 pieces. It's very hard to find and very pricey. It also does come with a second head. Some pretty good detail and carnage on this one. I did a video on this in the past. This one here, the Legend of Crystal Lake, this one was limited to 1,250. And then that brings us to the new part of the collection. I had to put it in a stand because it's a little bit stiff. Just coming out of the package, it has, I forgot to mention, it has 25, what do you call it, 25 areas of articulation. But everything was very, very stiff, and I didn't really want to play around with it too much. I had a hard time standing it up, so I did put it in a figure stand. I'll leave it there for now, and then there are the extra accessories that we already showed. So that's what everything looks like together, and that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a comment that says hashtag Jason never dies, and that'll be a wink and a nod to me that you made it all the way through, and you have my gratitude. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Later.